Yes, hello. My name is Pietro Scalfaro, and I'm the Chief Medical Officer at ENYO Pharma. We develop new therapies, and as a team, we have oversight over ENYO's clinical programs to move our investigational drugs forward by generating the required insights for these drugs to become safe and effective medicines. So my main role is to define and translate our strategies into operational plans and to improve the chances of success within the many opportunities and constraints. Our first clinical program, Vonafexor, addresses two very frequent liver diseases, which both, when untreated, last a lifetime and get worse. The first is an infection due to hepatitis B virus and affects hundreds of millions of people. The second is linked to unhealthy lifestyles and other not so clear reasons which reflect the way the human body deals with fat and sugar, which eventually leads to a fatty liver. Both diseases have in common that the liver becomes scarred over several decades, then no longer works properly, which may lead to cirrhosis and cancer. Many current trials aim to find a better cure. Unfortunately, most often this cannot be achieved. One of the biggest challenges is to find a good way for new drugs to identify the best possible combinations. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of possibilities. And for obvious reasons, no company, be it small or large, can afford the resources and respect the constraints to test so many options in patients. Therefore, finding a new approach, a tool if you wish, that allows you to narrow down to the ultimately working options is needed. When we started to work with Nova, we thought that this would help our Vonafexor program. Firstly, we built a mathematical disease model based on available scientific knowledge and also taking into account the data that we generated in previous Vonafexor trials. And secondly, the model allows us to assess many hypotheses before actually selecting those to be further tested in real patients. The methodological innovation and the rigor that the Nova team deploys were convincing to us. We are aware that we are entering an uncharted territory, which goes way beyond the well-established modeling approaches used to study how the human body disposes of drugs in general and Vonafexor in particular. This is what we usually call pharmacokinetic and dynamic models. It is much more difficult to anticipate and simulate in a model how a drug may work against liver diseases, the mechanics of which are unveiled. Very few companies have the expertise and capabilities to build and operate such complex models. While we're exploring different avenues for optimal drug combinations, their durations, the quantities to be administered, and finally the patient characteristics that should also be taken into account. All this is currently being defined for the implementation in our next large hepatitis B viral clinical study. Drug development programs are in general a vast collection of more failures than successes. The simulations with the Novadiscovery model allows us to test many options and to visualize their output. We are confident that a better selection of the relevant trial characteristics will be supported by these results. Well, overall, Nova's innovative approach is based on the success to build a thorough and well-documented mathematical liver disease model, which evaluates the optimized clinical study designs by visualizing and comparing hundreds of options in virtual patients. Generating such insights upstream within a short time horizon of few months instead of many years may reduce the risks, those of a negative trial result, but not only, and make our drug development strategies eventually more successful. if you wish more information, I encourage you to visit our website, ENYO Pharma, or of course Nova's website.